Hey, you. Yes, you. Has your Ritual League been plagued with poor performance and unstable servers? Looking for a build that's easy on the processors to take on the new Maven endgame content? Well, this build is definitely not for you. If you're looking for a fun build to troll your friends in public parties, or a build for some casual mapping and experimenting with pushing the game's mechanics to the limit, then allow me to introduce you to Path of Walking Simulator version 2.0. This time, we're going with Daddy Longneck and crits. We're also bringing Mom along. Thanks to the new Battle Mage, we get to add our weapon's damage to every single spell we shit out. And since we're basically only scaling generic spell damage and crit, this build is incredibly customizable. So let's go over the basics of the build and my current setup. So the engine of the build is still the same as it was before. We're using the Eye of Innocence amulet to take damage every time we ignite an enemy, and then using that damage to drive cast when damage taken loops to just send out spells everywhere to recover that life back and to make sure we don't just immediately kill ourselves with all of this damage that we are taking. We are using a couple different methods of recovering that damage. Number one is Zolf's Nurture Citadel Bow. You get up to 60% life back whenever you ignite an enemy. I've got this one divined to 59, and that was good enough for me. And with Battle Mage, we are also getting the physical damage on this bow, the 100 to 400 and something damage, is getting added to every one of our spells. So we're also getting a good chunk of damage from this bow as well. As mentioned before, we are also taking Mind Over Matter, so 30% of all the damage that we take is also going to mana. Now to get that mana back, there's a Shaper mod that is plus 3 mana gain for each enemy hit by your spells. That is only about a third of the damage that we're taking from the ignites, so to get the rest of that back, there is a craft for damage taken recouped as mana. It goes up to 6%. I only have the 4% now. I haven't found the higher tiers yet, but we also have on the tree allocated on our amulet, we have Battle Rouse, which gives 10% of damage taken recouped as mana, and then we also have a Watcher's Eye with a Clarity mod, 20% of damage taken while affected by Clarity recouped as mana. Those two combined already will offset all of the damage that goes to our mana, just with a 4-second delay. So that is how we stay alive. With the cast with damage taken setups, I basically filled every slot that I can, just about, with a cast no damage taken and spell. So real quickly, just to go over, first we'll jump into all the level 1 cast no damage takens. This is just stuff that is going off frequently all the time. So I have a 6-link in the bow, I have Stormbrand, Ice Spear, EK, Arc, and then Chain on all of those just to get even more hits for every cast. Then over in the gloves, we've got Cremation, Firestorm, and Ball Lightning. In the boots, I've got Desecrate, Blade Vortex, and Blade Fall. And in the helm, we have Assassin's Mark and Purifying Flame. Also running a Clarity, as I said before, and an Essence Worm with Zealotry. I feel like Anger and Zealotry are about the same, but Zealotry I like the more consistent consecrated ground, as well as the increased critical strike chance. I've just found Zealotry to barely edge out Anger, but really whatever works for you can go there. In our chest, I have the main damaging setup. This is where we're actually getting the bulk of our damage. I have 3 skills linked to a level 14 Divergent cast when damage taken, and that is going to be Volatile Dead, Hydrosphere, and Blade Blast, all linked in with Control Destruction and Conk Effect, just to really boost up that damage even more. Also, in a true single target scenario, the Hydrosphere will provide a point of additional chaining for all the spells that we have in the bow that have the chain support linked to it. So it just helps drive a little bit more ignites when you're coming through on the on a true single target situation. So in terms of other gear to look for, I just have a lot of resistances and life and crit where I can get it. The Blizzard Crown is nice because it's a bunch of flat damage. There's the Temple mod on the gloves for the added fire damage, and then just the craft of Fizz Convert to Fire just to try to get as much elemental as we can. But outside of that, if you can get spell crit on the chest, go for it. This is only a tier 2, so I really haven't sunk as much currency as I could into this build yet, but I got it to the point it can do T16s, and I needed to make the video, so I just kind of stopped. For the active version of this build, if you just don't want to walk around and wait for things to hit you, just grab a high level Storm Brand and swap it out for the low level. You can now self-cast the Storm Brand, and then that will help start and drive all of the cast with damage taken loops. So you can just actively drop those in a pack and then just watch it explode when all of your spells go out. You can also take a Flame Dash if you like to, or a movement skill of your choice, and put it wherever you want. And that is how you can just get to an active version. If you wanted to toy around with this build, you can really just do whatever you want on those cast when damage taken setups. Try some different high level spells with what I have in the chest with the level 14 setup. Try different combinations of low level spells. If you really want to mess with the battle mage, you can drop the mind over matter entirely and just go with 2 Ngamahu sign rings. If you put both of these on, you can counteract the amulet and still get some life coming back. Then that will allow you to go with any weapon combination that you want. One hand and shield, 2 hand. You want to make a crafted 1000 damage 2-handed axe? Go for it. Have fun. Try. Experiment. Find something that's cool. I'd love to see what you guys can come up with. So now, I don't think there's anything left to go over except for the tree, and then just to let you guys watch this thing go through a T16. The trees is about as simple as it gets. We get life, we get crit, and we grab generic damage where we can. Life, crit, life, damage. I mean, it's a very, very standard just life and crit tree. A little bit of mana here and there just to help pad that out. Still a good place to put an Unnatural Instinct on this build there. And then for the Ascendancy, grab Instruments of Virtue first while you're leveling. This makes leveling very fun by just getting to play around with Battle Mage. You can then come down and get Righteous Providence and Inevitable Judgment. And then last but not least, Augury of Penitence would be the last one that you grab. While you're leveling, Battle Mage, if you can get your hands on one, let me see if I have mine in here still. If you can get your hands on one, try to get yourself a Stormheart. So it requires level of only 28, but look at all of the damage. So that cold damage, that lightning damage, that physical damage, that'll get added to every single one of your spells. And it just makes it a very fun leveling unique for anyone that is going with Battle Mage. Outside of that, I don't think I have anything else to go over. Really appreciate all of the positive responses to the first video of this series to come out. I hope this one is just as good. As always, I would love to have you as a subscriber. If you want to click that button and stick around and catch some of my other videos, I would love it. But without further ado, I guess I will cut here and send you guys to the full T16 so you can see what this looks like and just watch it go through a full map. Peace out.